Hi, I'm going to just tell you a story about football because I love football. Actually, the Vikings just won. But there was a story about this coach who had a football team. Now, on his team was a man who came to all the practices. He worked out and he did what he needed to do, but just minimally. He didn't really play much, and he didn't seem to bother him that he sat on the bench. And, most of the other people, when the game's going on, the team walks up and down the sidelines and is involved and ready to go if the coach needs them. And this young man just seemed very, very content to just sit on the bench. And so one night the coach thought, I'm going to get him involved as an analyst. I'm going to get him here thinking and talking the game. And so he walked over and he started engaging in him, and he asked him a question. He said, what would you do if we had the ball on the 3-yard line and it was a second down and there were 30 seconds left to go in the game? And the young man looked at the coach and he thought for a bit and he said, well, I guess I'd move to the end of the bench to get a better view. I see people sitting on the bench, and I'm an active person. I'm very purposeful and very intentional, and it really bothers me when other people are really content to just sit on the bench. It's so comfortable there. They don't have to commit to anything. There's no risk. There's no fear. There's really no reward either. We are not saved by our works, but we are saved to do good works. We're saved to get off the bench. It's a part of being a good steward. Stewardship isn't really emphasized in our culture. It's the culture of the iPod, the iTV, the I have, the I want, the I get, the I covet, the I possess. It's all about I. There's really no room in our lives as a believer to sit on the bench. But we really do different things. We hire interior decorators to come and make our houses look nice, so we sit on our couch and we gaze at this big screen. We don't sit around our house much. There's too many other things to do. There's people to love. I'm accountable for my actions, and I'm accountable for what I do, not for how I sit on the bench. And when things really get exciting in other people's lives, I'm jumping in with both feet to be a part of it. But I watch so many other people just really content to move to the end of the bench and watch. The other night we were part of worship, led worship at a homeless shelter, and for 30 minutes we got off our bench, serving hundreds of men by leading them in worship and challenging them to, at this time of year at Christmas, to live peace and goodwill, but not just at Christmas, for the rest of the year. It's not really hard to get off the bench. You just have to keep moving to the end of the bench, and eventually you will fall off. And sometimes falling off is actually the best way to get up and start moving for God. So maybe fall off the bench, go all the way to the end, flop off, go shake a bell for Salvation Army, volunteer at the shelter, go to the food shelf. There's shut-ins, people who need encouragement. Go encourage, pick an opportunity that really stretches your little box. Go buy a meal for a homeless family, or find a single mom and get her some diapers. We get so content to sit on the bench. Maybe it's time you got off the bench and got into the game. Don't settle for a better view of life. Get in the game and take a few hits. And the stories God's going to give you, it's going to build your faith. It's going to share your passion. And at the end of the day, when you're sitting in the hot tub, just figuratively follow me, because you've taken a few hits, you're going to feel a lot better, and you'll be glad you got off the bench. Our days are numbered. Don't spend them watching the game. Make this season a time where you make a difference in somebody's life. Get off the bench and get into the game, and have some stories to tell.